Good morning, everyone. Cecilia here. As promised, we're going to go through breathing and some core exercises. What you're going to need today is a mat or a chair, clear place on the wall. I'm going to demonstrate everything today, seated or on my mat. If you have a hard surface or if you just feel like your wrists are a little off today, definitely grab your mat. So we are going to start seated. Just take a moment and roll our shoulders back. And let's go forward. Let's bring both arms up. And exhale down. So I wanted to talk about breathing today because it can help us as we go through our exercises. Inhale up. Exhale. You can start to add in your head if you'd like. Stretch the neck. But it can really help us, especially as we start to feel fatigue. If we know when to breathe in and out, it can really help us get that last final push. This time, bring both arms up. Let's exhale, twist to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, twist to the left. One more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, center. Let's reach our one arm over. Other side. Switch one more time. Okay, so what we're going to start with first today is tabletop. Make sure when you come into tabletop that your hands are directly under your shoulders. You can have like a slight bend. You don't want to lock your arms out because you don't want to cause any issues within your elbows or even any circulation issues. Also, it's personal preference whether you want to have your feet flat or toes curled. Toes curled takes a little bit of pressure off of those shins and your knees. So if you're feeling any sort of discomfort in there, maybe do tabletop with your toes curled. But both toes curled or toes flat are acceptable. So I'm going to come into tabletop. We're going to just start in tabletop with a few breaths here. So when we're in tabletop, when we breathe out, it's like our stomach kind of loosens, and then to draw in our core, we breathe in. And as we breathe out, our stomach goes down. I don't know if you can see that. And then as I breathe in, my core tightens. So this is what we want to keep in mind when we go into cat and cow, whether you are doing cat and cow seated, standing, or on your mat. So we're going to start with cow first because it follows our breathing pattern. So as I inhale and my stomach loosens, I can curve my spine into cow. And then as I exhale and tighten my core, I naturally come into cat. And then we breathe in as our stomach and core loosens and as our spine moves. And breathe out as we go into cat. Let's do a couple more here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. You can take a moment to sit back into child's pose, or just sit back and rest those wrists by doing some rotations. We are going to go into a bird dog hold. So this time when we breathe, we're going to exhale or inhale, and then as we exhale, we'll lift and hold, but then we'll continue our breath. So let's go ahead and get back into our tabletop. I'm going to extend my left arm and right leg. So we're here. So when I exhale and then inhale, bring everything up. Make sure you're breathing here. Our gaze should be no more than a few inches in front of our mat to keep our neutral alignment. And let's bring that down. Let's go into the other side. So I'm going to bring my left foot out and my right arm. I'm going to inhale. On the exhale, I'm going to bring my arm and leg up. And we hold here while maintaining our breathing. And bring that down. You can go back into child's pose or just sit back and rotate those wrists. So we are going to do one more in tabletop. It's just going to be a lift and a lower. You have the option to either just lift an arm or lift a leg or lift both arm and leg. I'm going to demonstrate lifting both the arm and the leg. So a couple more rotations if you'd like. Find your tabletop. I'm going to extend my right leg and my left arm. So remember here, the first thing we did, we inhaled, and then as we exhaled, our arm comes up. So keeping that in mind, as we do our tap, when we lower, we breathe in. As we come up, we exhale. Breathe in, exhale. And let's bring that back down. You can come into child's pose if you'd like. Rest those wrists in between sides. So that exertion is helping us to engage our core, which helps give us the energy to bring our leg and our arm up. You will see that the exertion isn't always in the same space. So for like push-ups, it's in the up as well. But there are a few things, like when you get more into lifting, where it'll seem like it's on the down, but it goes with the movement, the exertion that you're trying to do. So let's go to the other side. So I'm going to stick my left arm or my left leg back and my right arm out. Going to inhale, my stomach is going to soften a bit. As I exhale, come up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. One more. Come back down and you can rest. So that's it for tabletop. We're going to move into plank. I'm going to demonstrate low plank and high plank. I'm going to do them on the mat. You do have the option to grab a sturdy chair and use your chair or a sturdy coffee table or the wall. So My first hold, I'm just going to come into low plank. You can do high plank here if you'd like. I'm going to actually do forearm plank today. So I'm going to have my forearms flat. I'm going to make like kind of 90-degree angles with my arms. So when we're in plank, the important thing that we want to think of is zipping our legs together and pushing out like our heels are pressed against a wall, and being up in our shoulders so we're not like hunched down here. We want to be up. Gaze is still only a few inches in front of our mat. In this hold, same sort of breathing skills as in tabletop. So as we exhale, our core tightens. And you can lower down. So the next one that I want to do is a shoulder tap. You don't have to do this. You can just hold high plank if you'd like, or low plank. So I wanted to do the shoulder tap because I wanted to show how the exertion is still the exhale, but it might look a little different. So we're here. I'm going to hold my high plank, zip my legs together. So the exertion is the tap, right? So when I go to tap, my exhale is going to be on the tap. And come down. So see how it's a little different than bringing our legs and arms up. We're still doing the movement, so that's still the exertion. So that's why we still exhale on that part. So let's do a few of those together. So come into your high plank, wherever you would like to be, whether it's using the chair or the wall or your mat. Remember, zip those legs together. And what I mean by zip is to not have any space between your legs, and then that will cause you to naturally want to engage your legs, which helps you to engage your glutes and push out with your heels, which also helps you to engage your core. So inhale, exhale. You can come down. All right, so one more here, the hip drop. So I'm going to come back down to my forearms to do hip drop. So you can do this one on your knees if you start to get tired, because this one is kind of hard to do against the wall. Or utilizing a chair. So I'm going to come into my low plank. Our toes, I'm going to start with my toes and legs straight. So when I drop, breathe when I come back to center. Drop, breathe in when I come back to center. So you will notice you might have to like readjust as you go left and right. Another option is to just do a smaller rotation in hip if you want to stay up with your legs straight. So let's just do 4 here. So we're going to exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, Last one. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale back to center. And you can come down. You can do a child's pose. Stretch out those arms. Okay, one last one that I did want to show you, sort of in the plank style, is push-up. I know we don't do push-ups very often, but we do them sometimes. You do have the option to do the push-ups against the wall, or utilizing your chair, your coffee table, whatever sturdy surface you have. I do prefer the push-up progression to start from the wall and then slowly make your way down to the floor, just because it helps to keep your back in line and your head in line, and it mimics it more to have your legs straight as you progress from the wall down versus having starting like on your knees, because then you might have a tendency without knowing it to arch your back, or you might not be in alignment because you might not put your legs far enough back with your knees being the ones that are down on the ground. So I'm going to come up into regular push-up, and the push-up that I like to do is to have our arms more like we're doing plank or cobra, because that saves your shoulders, versus the wide push-up uses your shoulders and that'll really burn them out. And as we get older, just in general, we can become a little more prone to pulling things and other injuries and dysfunctions. So we want to curb that while we can. So I'm going to have my arms here. Some people call that a plyometric push-up. And it is a little hard to do, but overall, I feel like it saves your shoulders, so it's worth the trade-off. So when I come down, I inhale and then exhale on the push up. So I'm just going to do a couple here to show you. So we exhale on the push up because that's the exertion. So now the last thing that I want to do before we get into a stretch, we're going to sit kind of in our Pilates sit, and then we can bring our arms back. So the first one we're going to do is called a thigh lift. So we're going to bring one leg out, and then you can stay here, and my leg is turned out here, but both sits bones are still on the ground. So you can lift and lower here. So the exertion is the lift. You have the option to add in the opposite arm, and still the exertion, the breath out, is the lift. Just like that. So either one. We're going to do 8 on each side. So my leg is turned out. Both sits bones are still on the ground. I'm going to demo with my arm up as well. So inhale, exhale. Three more here. 2. Switch. So I'm going to turn out my other foot. Let's scoot back a little so you can see. So instead of being here, we're turned out, rotating from the hip. I'm going to bring my opposite arm up. Exhale to lift. Three more here. And sit up. Stretch that out. You can hinge forward. All right, one more exercise here. So you have the option to have both legs out, or bring the one leg up, just like we did on the other side. This time, both arms are going to stay back. We're going to lift and then go out and in. So, still the exertion here is on the lift. Just like that. All right, we'll do 4 on each side. All right, sit up nice and tall. Both sits bones are still on the ground. I like to flex my foot here. I just find it easier to engage my quad here instead of trying to remind myself to engage my quad as I'm also trying to breathe correctly. So, flex foot here. And our exertion is on the lift, so and out. One more here. Let's switch sides. The exertion is on the lift, and we start with the lift first. One more here. And lower. Take a moment and wiggle those wrists. So when we come back in the new year, or maybe next week just to do it just because, we'll go through more of breathing as far as being flat on your stomach, so like Superman, because there you would have shallow breaths while you're trying to engage your core. So we'll go through that later on in our bar journey. So since we're already here, let's bring one leg in. So you have the option to either have your legs straight forward, more into the runner's stretch, or if you do yoga, you can bring that leg out to the side, sit up nice and tall. You're going to try to turn your body to face that leg, still sitting up nice and tall. Then you're going to hinge forward toward that leg. And then once you've gone as far as you can, then you can try to reach that knee. Breathe in and out here. It's important to breathe here because as our muscles are sort of fighting against stretching, the breath will help to relax our bodies. And only go as far as is comfortable for you, because I know we are warm, but we didn't do like a lot of lengthening through our muscles. So whichever side you did on that first side, do the same on the other side. So I'm going to rotate towards this leg and then hinge forward. You will notice that one side is more flexible than the other, just like with our turnout. So for me, that first side is way more flexible than this one. You should feel this stretch down your back, maybe a little into those side glutes. You're pulling on your foot, maybe feel that stretch in your calf as well. You can point here if you'd like. All right, let's bring both legs out, just like this. Sit up nice and tall, hinge forward, and then when you go as far as you can bring your arms out. You can rest your head on your arms if you can, or go further down to the ground if that's within your practice. Remember to breathe in and out here. going to come and walk my hands over to my left. And then back through the center to walk them over to my right. And then back to the center. I'm going to walk my hands up. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you all next year. Bye.